Okay, nice. So we have some new players in there. Nice, nice. Yeah, sounds
Okay,
good. No problem.
so now I am live and I put in my things and learn to lead. So don't say anything stupid, you dummies. I
It's
don't want to
okay.
get another strike on me.
No, no. Now, Swamp, are you recording already?
Yes, I'm 27 seconds in. I'm trying to get to you guys. You can
You
talk.
you can you can redeploy. We have Sunders deployed here, and you can join us.
I know women in
Okay, now
Colossus.
yeah, now everyone, from now on, we have officially started. So I would like to start by asking that from now on, you guys try to keep communications clear so we can have a good discussion here. And the way it's going to work is we have three topics to discuss with you guys today. And we are working on a document, and the training sessions that you guys are going to go through today has been in the works for some time now. And we've been gathering feedback from all of the great leaders of the SKL just to compile it into a comprehensive guide for new leadership. That's what we've been trying to do, and that's what you guys are going to experiment tonight. So the topics that we're going to discuss with you guys today and the topics that we judge necessary for a good leader to thrive in the SQL environment and in game as well are as follow. We're going to start off with responsibility. On this first topic, we're going to go over some rules, and these ones should be followed at all times. They're not up for discussion. And if you want to be an SQL leader, you should always be following these rules. So first topic will be responsibility. Second topic will be character, and on it we'll discuss some good behaviors, some good attributes and good characteristics that leaders should have. These are basically the best attributes that leaders have in SQL, the things that we value the most. But these are not rules. These are what we suggest that you guys should try your best to be, or what you guys should try your best to achieve in game. Now, for the last topic, and probably the most important one and the most extensive one as well, we're gonna go over strategy. Basically, we're gonna try our best to give you guys good general tips on how to run your platoons and how to lead SKL forces into victory when you're in the heat of it. When you're trying your best to fight against a Zerg, when you're trying to win an alert, and all that. So that's how it's gonna go. Before we start with the first topic, does anyone have any questions?
Can we get rid of all the vehicles so we can stop having those sound clog again?
Use ducking in your settings.
Do what?
Turn it up. There's a setting called ducking in your audio settings. If you turn that up, it turns down all the other sounds while people are talking. I just learned about that the other day. It's very useful.
I don't see ducking anywhere. I see dialogue.
Under voice volume to 0.
I think it's in your voice settings.
Yeah, go to your
Oh, here it is,
options, then
duck,
go to
dude.
voice. There you go.
Turn to 0 or
Put it to like 80 to 90.
Yeah, put it high. Okay, now guys, for us to have a fluid discussion here, the way it's gonna work is I'm gonna describe each topic for you guys, then I'm gonna go over each one of the rules, okay? We basically have 7 rules for the first 2 topics. They are very, very simple rules to follow, but we're gonna have a discussion on each one of them. And I would like the veterans in here, and we even have people here that outranks me in SKL, that as soon as I finish talking about each one of the roles, if you guys want to give your inputs on it, feel free to do so, but that's only up for the Swarm Lords and above, the people that are the leaders of SKL right now. And for the rest of you guys, we're gonna keep the questions to the end of it. So as soon as we finish one of the topics, if you have any questions about a specific rule, you guys keep it to the end of the topic. That way we can have a discussion by the end of it. Okay, are we clear? Can we start?
Sounds good.
Is it alright if we... Sorry. Is it alright if we put our questions into the chat so that we don't forget them? Because I know that I always forget mine.
No problem. That's perfectly fine.
Well, you guys could write it to my Twitch chat, and I could just read him the questions if you guys forget or something.
No, it's okay, Swamp.
No.
We'll use it in game chat. It's okay.
Oh, I just want to feel special.
You already coined this.
Yeah, ain't the same.
Okay, now everyone, first topic of discussion for today is responsibilities. So, as you guys know, SKL is indeed a Zerg fit. There's no other way to put it. We are the biggest outfit in Emerald VS. We have the biggest amount of active players. Yeah, Avocado, I believe he is. We have the biggest amount of active players in the server, and you want it or not, SKL does have a bad reputation. It's completely understandable. We know where it comes from, and we need to try to do our best to improve our actions in game and try to be a positive force, not only to VS, not only to SKL itself, but to the game as a whole. What you guys need to keep in mind is that when you are leading forces into battle in planetside 2, you are basically the most important player in the server. When you are leading 48 people into battle, you might be the only decisive force that your faction has at that time. And even if you are not playing like during off times, if you're playing during peak times, leading a platoon or leading a good squad into battle can be the decisive factor in any fights. So the way that your actions impact the game will change not only your game experience, but the entire server game experience. You guys always need to be aware of that when you're playing, that you're not only playing for yourself when you lead, but you're playing for everyone else. So the first rule, and this is the most important one, this is why it's rule number 1, is have fun. That should always be what you guys have in mind when you're leading your forces into battle. Basically, the way it goes is you should always try to keep your platoon entertained. If you guys are being farmed, if you are stuck in a fight that you are not winning, you are not doing yourself, neither your platoon, any good. So rule number 1 is have fun. You should always try to do your best to provide a good experience to your squad mates and platoon mates. That should be number 1 priority when decision making. Now, would any of the other leaders like to add something to that?
Something that Sokar taught me way back when was, as a platoon lead, your first 2 priorities are to your platoon, making sure they're having fun, they're not getting farmed, they're in good fights, and your second priority is your faction, making sure that you are supporting the faction in the goals that as a whole they're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. So true. I would add that, so in this game, what is there honestly that is forcing these people, these 47 people that are following you around the map, to do what you tell them? It's completely voluntary, right? So if at any point you ask them to do something that sucks, all you can do is say, get here or I'll kick. When in reality, they might have been a huge asset to you had you just been doing something that's a little more engaging, a little more fun. So if you're getting your guys farmed, it's a great way to 1, kill morale, and 2, lose that support as a leader that you desperately need.
Definitely. And keep in mind, guys, that these rules sometimes are, they not go well with each other. So we're gonna go over rule number 2 in a minute, but I'm just gonna let you guys know already that rule number 2 is play to win. And what that means basically is that if you have an alert going and working on what Kasami said and what Sokar believed as well, is that we need to try our best to work towards the goal of the faction. As a platoon leader, your responsibilities are first to your squad and platoons. That means that you are trying your best to give a good experience to your platoon mates, but then you have your entire faction behind you as well. If you take an entire 48 platoon from your faction's forces, you basically can't do anything if you guys are like throwing away the alert. But sometimes, if you are not having fun, if you are stuck in a double team and your platoon is not having fun at all, it might as well be better to go away and do a harasser race, go away and do Saving Private Orby, or go away and go fight in a biolab. So if you're stuck in a loop that your platoon is just dying constantly and none of you guys are having no fun at all, take your platoon and go do something better. Just go have a good time. And that's basically your priority number one. Have fun with your platoon, give them a good time. That's always the first thing you guys should have in mind. Anything else to add?
Let me heal you.
Okay, sounds good. Now, going to rule number 2, and you guys know it already, is play to win. And basically, this should be very, very easy for you guys. You all already know. SKL does not throw alerts. The way SKL works is we herd the cats, we get our forces, we gather our numbers, and we go for the win. That's what we do. We don't warp gate one of the factions. We don't get stuck in a base in a useless fight. We play for our faction. We are a positive asset to VS, not only for ourselves. Because of the size of SKL, we have too big of an impact to let the alert go. So if we decide as an outfit to not care about alerts, that means that the entirety of VS is gonna let alerts go. That means that we are giving bad experience to people that are wanting to fight in the alerts. If you are pulling your outfit, if you are pulling your platoon away from an alert that you can still win, that means that someone else in VS is going to be having a bad time because they're going to be like, what is SKL doing? Why are they not helping us? That's not something that we want to have, not only because of the image of the outfit itself, but because of the experience of the players that you guys have in the game. Once again, we go back to what I said at the beginning, guys. You as a platoon leader directly impacts the game experience of everyone. Planetside 2 is an interesting game where the game mechanics rotates around teamwork more than any other game that I know of. If you guys have played the game alone for some time, or if you guys have gotten into a session and played like for a couple of hours without anyone, when you join a platoon, the experience completely changes. So it is a game about teamwork. And if you guys are not taking that into consideration, the social part of PlanetSide 2 into consideration, you are basically making bad game experience to other people. Okay, anybody else would like to add something to that rule? We play to win.
This game is just massively more fun when you do it with a coordinated group and you're all working towards an objective. And if that objective is the objective Daybreak hands you, which is play the alert, amazing. If it's unwinnable, there are other objectives. But it is just massively more enjoyable when we do it as a team. I couldn't agree more.
There we go. Now, rule number 3 is kind of an interesting one. Is do both of the previous rules. So what we mean by this is when you are leading, you should always be trying to achieve both of the rules at the same time. And that's what I meant when I said it's hard to balance these rules, because you should be trying to win, but should be trying to have fun while you do it. And that sometimes can be hard to manage. If you are trying your best to fight in an alert, and you are stuck in a losing fight, but you are stuck in a losing fight to provide cover for someone else that's capturing a base, that means that you are sacrificing rule number 1 in exchange for rule number 2. And that's what I mean by the conflict. You guys will need to learn how to manage fun against winning. Sometimes it is hard to balance, sometimes your platoon will get frustrated, and it is a fine line to walk on. You guys should be striving to win alerts, but you should be striving to give your platoon a good experience as well. There's no easy way for us to tell you how to go about that. Each situation is going to be a complete situation on itself. We can't give you guys specifics on every one of them. But that's something you guys should be aware of and trying your best to relate to.
In that situation where you have to sacrifice the fun aspect in favor of the winning aspect, it is a good idea to communicate that with your platoon. I know, guys, that we're kind of getting farmed here, but we're holding their pops, so the other platoon that I've communicated in command with can take X base. So all we gotta do is hold their pop here, distract them, keep killing them, keep doing what we're doing, so we can take that base. Just keep them up to date with what you're doing, that you're not just sticking the farm to get kills for the NC, that you actually have a plan for why you guys aren't succeeding where you're at.
For fun.
That's the best way to go about it. Make them aware of their sacrifice. You guys, I know we're not winning here, but someone else is capturing Quartz Ridge while you guys are getting farmed here. So we need to hold their population here for us to win. That's basically how we go about it. Anything else to add? One of the other leaders?
I can heal you.
Well said.
Okay, sounds good. Now, rule number 4, I believe it should be like pretty clear, but just to make sure, you guys should never, and I repeat, never be disrespectful. And when I say this, I need to stress that to anyone willing or wishing to go above platoon lead 1, if you guys want to go up the chain of command and want to lead SKL into victory, when you become an SKL leader, you are basically a representative of SKL. If you are leading a platoon during off times and you are being a jerk while you do it, that's the image that's gonna stay for SKL. So you are our representatives. You are the face of SKL. While doing so, you are not allowed to be disrespectful any way, shape, or form to anyone. And I mean that by you are not going to send disrespectful whispers to anyone. You are not going to go in social media and hate on anyone with the SKL name. You should always strive to be respectful towards everyone, and that goes not only to your platoon, but to your enemies as well. Now, would anyone like to add something to that?
I can heal you.
Does that include trash talk when we're trash talking the enemy?
Yeah, now that is something, again, there's a fine line there. There's a difference between having fun and literally giving them a bad experience. For instance, when we capture a base and if you guys want to go ahead and say something dumb in yell chat, like we need more batteries or something like that, or when we do one of our events and we yell crusades in yell chat, that's not being disrespectful. But when you get killed again and again by someone and you are a platoon leader, you are a known member of SKL, and you send them a hate message, hey, you're a dumb, you're a son of a bitch, that kind of thing is not what we want from you guys. You guys are SKL leaders and you should behave as such. You should always be respectful towards everyone, ally or enemy.
Sounds like the difference between fun profanity and legitimate salt.
Exactly. Anything else to add, anyone?
Yeah, I think leadership is the capacity to
translate vision into reality. Just depends on what kind of vision you're trying to translate. So I think what Orby is saying, guys, is use common sense and don't let your head get away
Precisely.
from you, man.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay, I believe that one was pretty clear for everyone. Now we go to rule number 5. Now, rule number 5 is something that we should always strive towards, and it goes back again to what I said in the beginning, the player experience in PlanetSide 2. Rule number 5 is you should always help new players. And I cannot stress to you guys the impact that SKL has towards game experience in the Emerald server. Basically, I could say half of the new players that joins PlanetSide 2 at some point in their first week will end up in an SKL public platoon. And the experience that you guys provide to that new player will change the way they look to PlanetSide 2. If they have a good experience in a SKL public platoon, that means they will stick to the game and we will have a new player to PlanetSide 2. And when you are playing a game where literally numbers is the main focus of the game itself, player retention is something that we should always strive to achieve. We as leaders in public platoons and as leaders from SKL can make a huge difference in new player retention in our server. That's something you guys should always keep in mind. When you are leading, try to keep your platoons to mentor. From time to time, tell them, guys, if we have any new players, do you guys have any questions? Can I help you? And if you have a new player with questions, someone that's willing to talk without you reaching out to them, always try your best to give them a good experience and to help them out. Because by doing so, you're not only helping your own platoon, but you're helping the game as a whole. I believe that might even be the experience for some of the new players here. You guys might have joined an SKL platoon, you had a good experience and you stick with the game and maybe with the outfit as well. Anyone has anything to add?
That's really our outfit mission at the end of the day. It was mentioned, God, it was a long time ago. I feel like about a year back, before Sokar's hiatus, when we were talking about what we want to do as SKL right before the restructure. And we are really here to, because we have so many people, assist new players and gain that new player retention like you were talking about, Orby. So that is a huge, huge mission of our outfit and definitely should be taken seriously at every turn.
SKL is a family. I mean, we all have connections to other people here, and it's the people that keep bringing so many people back to this game. I mean, we all have alts on other factions, that happens, whatever. When I'm on another faction, I'm looking for the SKL connection, and it's just not there. So we need to promote that positivity as much as we can to new players, because that will keep them coming back and being an asset to us, instead of just whatever, you're exert, but you're stupid.
There we go. Sounds good. Yeah, very, very important, guys. Always try your best to give good experience to new players. They are basically the blood of the game. We should always try to keep them coming if we can. And we actually help the game as a whole. Not only ourselves, but PlanetSide 2. You guys can make a difference in the game as platoon leaders. Now, we go to rule number 6. And rule number 6 is to be communicative. And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Is that right?
Close communicative, but close enough.
Close enough. There we go. Yeah. You guys know what I mean. Basically, what I mean by this is from time to time, when you are leading a platoon, people will have suggestions, people will have feedback, people will want to talk to you. You are not a dictator when you are leading a platoon. There is a clear difference between having someone going against your orders, someone bluntly trying to backseat platoon lead your platoon, and someone giving you reasonable suggestion, something that you should take into consideration. And not only that, but the way that you address it as well. You should try to be respectful. You should try to be communicative. I word for God's sake.
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah, but you guys know what I mean. You should try your best to talk to your platoon in a respectful manner. Take suggestions in, even if they are not good suggestions, go ahead and tell them, I'm not doing this because of this and this. And if you are in a tight situation, in a situation where you don't want those kinds of communications to come in, so you can have a clear mind and focus on an alert, for example, go ahead and make sure that your platoon knows it. Clear comms, make sure everyone knows, guys, we're in the last 30 minutes of the alert. Now on, I want to keep clear communications so we can have a good view ahead of us for the end of the alert. Would anyone like to add anything to that?
I think I mentioned this in the small draft of notes I sent you guys, but literally one person can't do it all. You know, you're the top of the chain of command, but every chain of command has a supporting cast. So if someone comes in with a decent suggestion, don't be proud. Listen to them. It could be from a player who's been around for 3 days. You never know. If it has merit, it has merit. So always be open to things.
And also how you react to a bad suggestion. If somebody comes to you and you're just like, yeah, no, that's really, explain to them. Take that as a training moment to teach somebody, I thought about that, but this is a better one because we can cut off this and this and this if we do this. Or if we go there, there's TRNNC pop there. We'll get in a three-way, we'll get stuck there, whatever it is. Take that as a training moment to teach somebody why you decided not to go that route if you don't decide to take their suggestion.
Precisely. If someone goes to Kasami and said, Kasami, why are we not taking the crown? And then Kasami just goes and said, no, that's dumb. That's not productive to anyone. It's not good for you. It's not good for the person that made the suggestion. It's not good for the platoon. So that's what I mean. Try your best. Yeah, try your best to give like a good excuse if you're not taking the suggestion. And if it's a good suggestion, don't be proud. Accept it. You cannot do anything by yourself. Most of the times you will end up missing something in the map, so be open to discussion. That's what I mean by rule number 6. So there we go. Now for the final rule, and this might as well be like the most important one as well, is as simple as it is, stay calm. And that's it. That's the rule. When you are leading a platoon, sometimes it will get frustrating. Sometimes you will lose. You cannot win all of them. Sometimes you will get double teamed. But you should always stay calm. We don't want anyone fuming on platoons. We don't want anyone creating drama in a platoon. And even if someone is having an argument in your platoon, stay calm. Do not go over your head and start talking shit on anyone. If you are having a bad day, if you are feeling burned out, first of all, you should not be platoon leading. If you are not having a good day, if you're not feeling well enough, you should not take over any kind of leading roles. But if you did and you got stressed out during a play session, do not give out in the game. Just try your best to stay calm and avoid all kinds of discussions and arguments and overall bad behavior in a platoon. Would anyone like to add something to that? There we go. And you should. You not only can, but you should. Yeah, if you are not feeling well, if you're getting stressed out, and if you are having a bad time, first of all, if you're having problems in your platoon, and it is someone that is giving you problems, it is a specific person, an individual, you are in your right to go ahead and kick that person from your platoon if he or she is being a problem. But if the problem is yourself, if you are stressed out and not having a good time at all, you can go ahead and at all times give over leadership to someone that's willing to take it. If not, go ahead and disband the platoon. We do not want leaders stressing out over platoons and get burned out of the game, because that's the main reason why we lose leadership in planetside 2. People get stressed out, the responsibilities start to come, and when you realize you're not enjoying leading anymore and you're just having a bad time. So stay calm, try your best to have a good time. If you're not having it, don't lead at all.
Yeah, nobody's required to do this. This is people doing this just, just to help people for fun. So enjoy what you're doing. If you're not, don't do it, take a break.
Yeah, I like to say that everyone that likes leading in PlanetSide 2 is a giver. You guys are here, you guys want to lead because you enjoy giving a good experience to other people. It's much in the same way that people that does like tabletop dungeon master, a game master in a tabletop game. Most of the times you're not having the fun for yourself, you're just here to give people a good time. And it's something that you're not getting paid for, it's just a game, and if you're not having a good time, if you are stressing yourself out, don't do it. Just go ahead, clear your mind, step away from it, don't stress yourself out. So there we go. Yeah, go ahead, Nivik.
Hey, sorry, Orby. Listen, you're going to be a leader of anything. You're obviously going to take a lot of people where they don't want to go. But if the ends justify the means, I think a great leader is going to do that. They're going to take people where they necessarily don't want to go. Like, you're going to go over to this base, and we got to do this. We're going to get farmed for 30 minutes, but we're going to win the alert. Because another, like what you were saying earlier, is another platoon of ours is over at another area, and they're kicking ass, but we're here working with them. So you're going to take people where they don't necessarily want to go to, but if the ends justify the means, people will follow you, as long as you make sense.
There we go. Okay, now everyone, that sums up the first topic of today. That's responsibilities for all of you guys. So basically we have 7 rules. Once again, 7 rules, guys. We'll go over each one of them once again real quick, just so you guys can remember all of them. Rule number 1, have fun. Try to give fun to your platoon. That's rule number 1, your main priority. Rule number 2, play to win. SKL does not sleep in the job. We do not throw alerts. We do not warp gate factions for no reason. We play to win. Rule number 3, give me a second here to check my documents. Do both of the above. You should always strive to do both, and if you have a hard time conciliating both of them, try your best to have fun. Fun should always be the priority, but you should always try to conciliate both of those. Have fun while you win. Rule number 4, never be disrespectful. You should never disrespect anyone or anything while leading SKL. If you aim to become one of the SKL leaders, you are the face of SKL. And as such, we do not, I repeat, we do not accept any kind of disrespect from you guys. Rule number 5, always be welcome to new players. Always try your best to give new players a good experience, welcome them to the game, and try to help them out as best as you can. We can make a difference to PlanetSide 2 by helping out player retention. That should always be a rule, should always be something you guys have in mind when you guys are leading. Rule number 6 is be communicative. I can't say that word for fuck's sake. And that means that you should always try your best to take suggestions, talk to your platoon as much as you can, make yourself clear. Do not dismiss suggestions. as dumb suggestions or as useless suggestions. Take the opportunity to explain your line of thought, to let your platoon know what you're doing, and never be proud when you take a good suggestion. If someone suggested something and it is a good option, do not just throw it away because of pride. And final rule, rule number 7, stay calm. Never lose your mind over a game. We're all here to have fun. And if you're not having fun, if you can't stay calm, and if you're just getting frustrated, you should not be leading. So those are all the rules. Those wrap up the first topic of today. Now we are over it, and now I'm gonna open up for questions, and this is open for every one of you guys, and we want to make this a discussion as much as we can, so feel free to ask whatever you guys want about these rules.
Will these rules be posted anywhere for our reference?
Yes, they will. As I said, this is a document that we're working on. It's a work in progress right now, so we are still improving on it. And but we will be posting the document itself in one of our channels. The most probable one will be the useful information channel on Discord. If you guys are not on Discord, you guys should definitely be there. That's where SKL posts all of our stuff. That's where we plan all of our events. And so you guys keep an eye out for the useful information channel on the SKL Discord. It will be posted there.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So what role is it that we can start crafting stuff for everybody else? Like, oh yeah, we need some Colossus to help out take us Bastion because nobody's doing air support or anything. Like, we need a certain role to craft it. Like, how do we get those roles?
Yeah, as I said. Yeah, you start to have access to all of the war assets when you reach Platoon Lead 2. That's basically the rank of the regular platoon leaders of SKL, and when you reach that rank, you have basically you have access to everything except for Bastions. So you can craft Colossus, you can craft Orbital Strikes, you can use all of those, but you can't pull the Bastion. That's
what rank is Bastion?
Swarm Lords and above. It's Swarm Lords and above. And the way it works is we do promotions on a regular basis. And as I said in the beginning, the way the promotions work is every one of us that are Swarm Lords or above, we are always looking for people that are doing a good job platoon leading. We always have our eyes out, and we're always trying to look for potential promotions in game. So if you want to get promoted, you should try to lead more actively. You should make yourself visible in our Discord, participate in the discussions in there. Do a good job while leading. We are in your platoons, looking at you playing. We might even not be in our main accounts, so you can't just be a good guy when we are not around. We have people telling us at all times. And one of the tools that we have to know like about the good players of SKL, and I can't stress this enough because it's not something that we bring up enough for me, is the feedback forms in our Discord. SKL has a Google form that we use to give feedback to our leaders. Not only to our leaders, but to our members too. So it's something that you can use either to compliment someone on good leadership or to say something bad as well. If someone is doing something that you do not agree with, you can file a complaint as well using the same feedback form. That's not something that we can bring up when we are leading because it sounds biased, so it's kind of hard to approach that. It's kind of hard for us to bring it up because if I'm leading, can you imagine like I'm leading a platoon and then by the end of an alert, we won the alert and I go ahead and say, hey guys, and here's a Google form if you want to say something nice about me. So okay. It doesn't sound very good. So it's not used enough, and that's also a very good way for us to know like who is doing a good job in the game.
Orby, can I tack on a little bit, just a little bit about the
Sure.
the armory and assets? Because I know Swamp was asking about pulling bastions and pulling.
I don't want the bastions. I just want the bosses. That's all I want.
So right now, I'll put this out just real quick. There is a schedule and a scheduler. Go in and on the Discord to go and make requests to go in and pull these assets if you are not the required rank. Are not trying to hoard the assets. So if you are interested in pulling something like Colossi or Bastions, go ahead and you'll talk to a PL2 or above, and they can go in, they can get you set up on the scheduler. And as long as an Abathur approves it, you can go in and you can have access to pull your own Colossi or Bastion at a designated time.
Yep.
What happened the other day when we were running the Bastion on Amarish?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And that's also another point too, is a lot of times the Bastion pulls and things like that will be tied to special events. Like we just had this fundraiser, and for people that donated X amount of dollars, they got a Bastion pull. That was the reward for it. So those were kind of special occasions things, but anyone is free to ask for the permission. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll get it, but you are free to ask for the permissions if you want to pull something that you're not actually ranked to do.
Yeah, like Tater
Don't be
Nader.
afraid to ask.
So,
Right, yeah. Tater Nader was a PL1. He asked for it. They made him a Swarm Lord for the day so he could pull it. That's pretty much what we're saying. You can ask if you want to pull it, you know?
so I got a question about this donation thing. If I put a donation, can I get 45,000 some stuff to craft some implants?
No, we can't get that ISO 4 out.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
I mean, like, come on! Like, you donate a little bit, and you get pawn a Bastion, but you can't give something pawn implants?
No, but I mean, we don't have access to that. The implants is something that you need to earn. We have no control over that.
I have a question on the feedback form.
Go ahead.
So that is something I should not be plugging at the end of my alerts. I've been doing it at the end of every platoon I run, win or lose.
It's completely fine. There's no problem at all. It's like totally fine for you to go ahead and do it. It's more of an opinion that I have, because I know we don't use it enough. We should be trying our best to get it out there. But what I mean by that is that it's my opinion that it sounds a little bit weird when you are the leader and by the end of an alert you go ahead and say, and here guys, here's something that you can use to say nice things about me. You know what I mean? It sounds a little biased, so it's hard to approach. But if you have no problem with that, go ahead. It's free. We should be using it more.
Forms about Vox after every single alert.
So I can say Vox does it very well. When he does it in his platoons, he usually says if you have complaints or would like to commend me.
Precisely, yes.
Vox does it well.
Yeah, Vox does that.
Yeah, so there you go. Now that's a good way to approach it, you see? Now, not everyone does it like that. That's what I mean. So it's good that you're doing it like that, Vox. That means that you are approaching it nicely. You're doing a job when providing that to your platoon. And I can tell because we haven't had any complaints about it. So that's how I know, like, you're doing a good job when approaching it.
Second question, is there anywhere I can see the feedback form submitted about me? Because I do ask for criticisms and I'd like to actually get them.
Yeah, now those feedback forms, they can only be accessed by Quastar, I believe. So it's only up for like, or abattoirs and above. Yes, so it's for the higher up, for the officers of SKL. So only us can see what people are saying about you. And it is a good thing because like maybe someone is trying to say something about you and you don't want to know what they're saying about you. So it's up for us. If you would like to have criticism, feedback to yourself so you can improve upon it, just ask like a private feedback. That's probably the best way to go about it. I did it several times already. You just go ahead and say, hey guys, if you have something that you would like to say about my deed, go ahead and send me a message or hit me on Discord and let me know like what you guys thought about it, so I can try to improve upon it.
I mean, would there be a way to take the messages from the that squad leadership Discord channel and just like purge the names from it?
I
That
don't
way
know
they
if
could get
there's
the
that, but I mean, those of you who are worried about regular complaints, rest assured, if somebody complains about something a bunch of times about what you're doing or commends you a bunch of times for something that you're doing, someone in leadership will reach out and say, hey, you know, you might not want to do this, you know, it's not so great, or hey, you're doing a good job with this, keep it up, you know, you're taking notice, like that. We will reach out to you and
Yeah.
slap your hand or, you know,
It's not like you're never gonna know about it. You know, we're gonna let you know. If someone has a complaint about you, we will approach you and say, so we've been having complaints about this and this, and if someone is saying nice things about you, we will do the same. You are doing a great work. We've been having good feedback about you. Keep it up, and you guys should know that we always have like our eyes out, and we're always looking out for you guys.
But wait, there's a little counterpart to your thing you have, your system you guys have here. So what if somebody puts a false accusation against you, and then but the people think you're great, but this guy thinks he hates you because he's not like you're not listening to him, and then he puts in false complaints typing to you guys saying that we're doing a bad thing, but everyone else in the group thinks.
Okay, Swamp. Now, this is just drama, and it's a lot of hypothetical situation, so we're not gonna go over it, okay? If a situation like that ends up coming up, the officers will deal with it accordingly, but that's just drama. We don't want to go over it here.
Ugh, this guy.
Can I tack on just a little bit about what was being said a little earlier?
Go ahead.
So, if the leadership goes up and talks to you about something or negative things or anything that you've been doing, that's not necessarily means that you're in big trouble or bad things will happen to you, right? A lot of times they want you to succeed, and they notice that maybe there is a little bit of an issue, and if they talk to you, it can be solved and you can do better. I'll even use myself as an example. I had a lot of trouble a while ago when I was an up-and-coming PL1, and I made some mistakes, and some people came in and talked to me, and I realized what I was doing, and then I changed myself, and now I made it up here. So it's entirely possible, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just take everything with a positive light when leadership tries to contact you.
Especially if it is criticism, okay? Leadership, the officers from SKL will never approach you just to criticize you. We're here to try to make you better, okay? So if we've been having complaints about any of you guys, and this goes to the future as well, if we end up having complaints about any of you guys and then we approach any of you guys with said complaints, what we want from you guys is that you guys will improve upon it, that you guys see what you guys have been doing and try your best to work on those mistakes that you guys make. It's always constructive criticism from us. We're trying to sharpen you guys into the best leaders that you guys can be. That's always what we're striving to do.
Yeah, SKL has a common goal to make SKL better. Better leaders, you know, better gameplay, better everything. So if we come to you and say, you know, hey, you might want to back off of this a little bit, take that as we're trying to improve SKL as a whole, and we want you to succeed. We didn't, we just kick you out. But we want you to do better, to make SKL better.
So it's constructive criticism, not just criticism.
Also, like, do you guys do like a strike system? Like, oh yeah, strike 1, and then strike 2, strike 3, you're out, or just like, you're out?
Nothing's automatic, it's all subjective. Just know that there's a lot of people watching and evaluating, and it's usually in good faith, I find.
It's
Yeah,
more
and
like a vote system.
Yeah, and it's in good sense. Like it's more of like we understand when a person gets to a limit, and then from there on, there's no way we can keep up with it. And I can bring up an example of something that happened recently. We had someone that was complaining loudly about stuff, and it turned into an uncomfortable situation. And we then approached said person and we explained to him, here you are turning into an unpleasant situation. We would like you to change. And that person kept going upon the same things that he was doing. And after that, we had no other choice but to kick him from the outfit. So that's probably how it's gonna go. If you are doing something that's not good, we're gonna approach you, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna try to make you improve on it. And if you don't, then sadly we have no other option but to kick you. There we go. Any other questions, guys? Anything else to ask about any of the rules?
Actually, I have one more. Go ahead, Beto.
Well, I was just saying, just worst case scenario, something did happen, you got kicked one way or the other. Is there any type of an appeal, anything like that set up just in case for, you know, down the road type stuff?
I mean, unless you do something incredibly heinous and just
Yeah.
aren't getting it, we aren't just going to outright kick you. You'll have discussions will be had. You know, you'll be talked to by probably more than one leader, all the way up to Kaztar before you're kicked. So at that point, if you don't straighten up and get it, you probably won't be allowed back in unless you really, really can prove that, hey, I got it, I understand, things like that. It's not just, okay, I don't like you today, we're kicking you.
Yeah, basically, it's not gonna be like a bot message. You're not gonna get a message that says we've had complaints about this, change it. It's not gonna be like that. You know, it's gonna be up for discussion. Someone's gonna approach you, someone's gonna talk about the problem, and then you are completely free to go ahead and defend yourself if it is like a misunderstanding or something like that you can and had a high ground on. And you will have that discussion with someone. It's not just going to be like an automatic message, and if you don't agree to it, then you get kicked. It's a discussion. Someone will approach you, and then you have a conversation.
Copy that, and I can confirm that because that happened with me a while back, and you were very easy on me, and I really appreciate that. It helped me change some ways that I was doing. So I really like this outfit. It's not like the pigs where you rub someone the wrong way, you get kicked.
What do you mean by that? By the pig? Wait, what do you mean by the pig by the outfit?
Yeah, some outfits can be very, very much less tolerant of bad behavior, especially towards leadership.
I was on TR and was kicked from a platoon because my mic broke.
And there we go.
Banned from their Discord because of it.
Oh, that reminds me. Wait. That reminds me. I was kicked out a few days ago because I was trying to talk too much from one of your guys' people.
Swamp. That wasn't it. Okay, you were not with the platoon. You got kicked because you were 2,000 meters away from where your platoon leader asked you to be. And it was an honest mistake, and then you got back.
Of a sentence, which was hilarious.
Yeah, because I was brand new. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
While we're talking about it, it's worth saying that was my platoon, and I made the mistake of not giving him a warning. So that was my bad. Give people a warning before you kick them.
Yeah, or you piss off me.
That is standard procedure too. If the PL checks their to see the distance of how far away you are, they're allowed to kick you. Now Vox, yeah, he should have said, given a warning or something, but he did the right thing.
And keep in mind,
it seems like the last 40 minutes, last half hour. Oh, sorry, Snap.
I was just saying that if you do get kicked from a platoon, you can always rejoin if you didn't get banned. And if you rejoin the platoon, they generally won't re-kick you.
Yep.
I was gonna add, like, the last 20 minutes to the last maybe 40 of a lot of alerts, it kind of comes really down to the wire, and so the PLs gotta make a lot of snap decisions really quick, and so a lot of stuff happened pretty quickly in that last 20 and 40, and cohesion's gotta be high.
Yeah. Now, we ended up talking about some of the things that I wanted to say before we finish the topic and go over to the next one. And now I'll bring it up now because we are like in the middle of the discussion. but SKL does have a lot of rules and standard procedures to how you guys should platoon lead. Now, it's a lot of like, it's a bunch of small things. They're not like, they're very specific to certain situations or to certain things that you need to do as a platoon leader. And I didn't compile all of them here. Basically, you will learn them as you play, and you can ask around in SKL. But just some of the like more simple ones, so you guys can like have an idea of what I'm talking about. You guys are completely on your right to kick someone from your platoon if the person is not behaving correctly. If you want to kick people from not following orders, you should give them a warning previously so they know that you're about to kick them if they don't join you. If you are disbanding a platoon, if you are leaving an SKL platoon, you should ask for another platoon leader to step up and take over platoon lead for you. And if no one shows up, you need to disband the platoon if it's an official SKL platoon, okay? Now, if someone wants to take over platoon, most of the times we want you guys to give it to someone from SKL if possible. Make sure you look to who you're giving platoon over to, and if it's like someone that you never heard of and it's not an SKL, you are a little bit you're a little bit Jesus Christ. You should probably not give it to someone that's not an SKL if it's someone that you don't know. If it's a leader that you know, if it's someone from Praetorians or from Vindicators or someone that you know will do a good job, you go ahead and do it. But if it's someone you don't know and you're kind of defense about it, just go ahead and disband the platoon. Because we don't want ghost SKL platoons to linger. And because they have like the SKL official descriptions, and that's something that you guys should always start doing as well. Just take one of the official description on our Discord or come up with one of yours. It should just say like whatever flavor you want to give to your platoons plus the SKL message. And if you are leading one of those, disband or give it to someone in SKL or a leader that you know.
So basically, like I mean, if I might cut you off really quick, so basically the problem I was having earlier, where I had to come join you guys' training, I talked to everybody in earlier platoons and nobody wanted it, and I was forced to disband a giant platoon of 50 almost.
Yeah, it sucks, I understand, but it's just how it goes. If you don't do that, the platoon will end up with platoon leader that might not even have a microphone, or he might not even realize that he got the platoon. And from that point on, those people in your platoon are just gonna have a bad experience. And then people joining in the game will see the platoon open and they will keep joining. And that platoon can stay open for like 48 hours running with an SKL name without an actual leader. But that's what we want to avoid in those situations, okay? You need to be responsible for your platoon. You either leave it in good hands or you disband it. That's how you should go about it.
Bastion.
Now, yeah, go ahead. That's what I was gonna ask for. More of these small rules, guys, if any of you can remember any of them.
If someone's not an SKL and you don't know them, but they do want it, the option is always there to remove the SKL tags from all the descriptions.
Yes, there you go. If someone wants to take it over and it's not from SKL, you just tell your squad leaders to change the squad description for whatever the person wants. Then it's not an SKL official platoon anymore, and that person can do whatever he wants with it.
Or she.
Or she, yes, there you go.
But how many times do we actually see a girl on here? This is the first girl I've ever met that actually plays plantside too.
Swamp, let's not go there, okay? Anything else, guys?
I know at least 2.
Anything else, anyone?
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Irby, concerning the leadership of SKL, if you're platoon lead and nobody wants to be squad leads, then now you're not only platoon lead, but you're also a squad lead for every squad. What would you do in a situation like that? Just keep playing?
Nivik, I missed the first part of it. It kind of broken up for me. Can you repeat the first part?
Yeah.
Or anyone else answered it?
Yeah, I
Kasami,
can
feel free.
take this one. Generally, that happens in the lower pop times. Like if you're playing early on a Sunday morning, I deal with that a lot in my platoons because I tend to run more on the weekends and the weeknights. You won't run into that so much in prime time. You'll have squad leads that you know that'll step up, but early mornings, there's not a whole lot going on. You don't need a whole lot of cohesion to get things accomplished. So as long as you are comfortable herding the cats, it's not usually high pressure when you don't have a good squad lead.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. What could SKL do to try to help people become squad leads? Is there any squad training leadership?
We're doing right now, part of it, yeah. I held squad lead training about a month ago. There's a squad lead guide in the Discord. We are working on grooming, the next generation of everything. I firmly believe that a good platoon leader has quite a bit of experience as a squad leader. You need to know what's going on that level before you can be a good platoon leader. So that is something that we do encourage, is squad leadership.
Definitely. It's just, I think it's better when you have squad leads and you're coordinating with them. That way the people in their squads can talk to the squad leads, and it can reduce the amount of chatter that's going on, so you could talk to command and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. Squad leaders completely change the way our platoon works. And Kasami is like our official squad leader in SKL. So she's the one doing like the squad lead trainings and all that. This session today is more of a leadership training session. So we're going over like general things that can be used not only by platoon leaders but by squad leaders as well. We might do a specific one for squad leaders in the near future. We've been trying to do them regularly. As Kasami said, we had one a couple weeks ago. We had another one similar to this one maybe a month or two ago as well. So we've been trying to do it regularly. So you might see a squad lead one coming up in the future. So there we go. Now, anything else to add to this topic, guys? Once again, to the responsibilities topic before we move over to the next one. That's the character topic. And that one is a shorter one. And then right after that one, we go to the strategy, the good stuff. Anything else to add? Anyone?
I'm telling you this right now, you got an hour and 2 minutes, so...
Yeah, as I said, 1 hour to 2 hours. It's kind of long, guys, I know.
Okay. That's about the length that you'd be platoon leading for, so...
Yeah. Exactly. And as I said, it's a game, guys. If you're not having a good time and if you're stressing out, feel free to leave. Okay, so let's move over to the next topic of discussion. Yeah, and anyone, if you guys need to leave, by the way, if anyone needs to leave, this is being recorded. We're going to try to make it available for you guys afterwards. So if you guys want to catch the end of it, if you need to leave at any point, feel free to do so. You can catch the rest later. But we highly recommend you guys to be here to discuss it with us. It's very, very good to have you guys here and have the discussion with you real time. Okay, so now to the next topic. We are gonna talk real quick over character of an SKL leader. And as I said before, basically what this is the attributes, the characteristics that we judge to be the best ones for an SKL leader. Basically how you should behave, how you should treat your platoon, what you should try to be when you are leading, to give not only yourself but also your platoon a good experience. So to start off, give me a second here. Okay, so that's it. Now, rule number 1 for character experience, and now for this topic, guys, when we're talking about character, This is more of a guideline. When we were talking about responsibilities, those 7 rules that we talked about, they are rules. They should be enforced as so, and you guys should follow them at all times. Now, this that we're going to discuss now, they are more of guidelines. They are what we judge a good leader to be, but they should not be held as rules. You guys are not going to suffer any kind of you guys are not gonna get complained on if you can't follow any of these. These goes down to personality and character of each one of you guys. We know that we can't change that, but we can try to improve upon it. So rule number 1 is try to be positive. Simple as that. Be positive to your platoon. Try to always keep a light-hearted atmosphere. Try to keep your platoon having a good time, and overall just be a positive person, be a fun person, be a happy person when you're platoon leading. Come to your platoons with a good smile on your face and try to give them a good time. That's how you should try to approach it. Would anyone else would like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think basically is when you're leading anybody or a group of people.
I don't know if I'm on enough. God damn it!
reflects upon them.
I don't have enough energy.
They're gonna try
No!
to mirror a good platoon will. So
Oh,
just
God.
keep that in mind.
Do I have the energy to get him to awaken?
Yep. A platoon with a good atmosphere is completely different. Like, if you are promoting like jokes in your platoon and if everybody's having fun, that's what we all want, you know? And you guys will be better leaders if you are being positive towards your platoon. Always try to give them like positive feedback if they manage to accomplish a hard capture, or if you guys want an alert. Always go ahead and compliment them. You guys did an amazing job, everyone. You guys are doing great. Always keep being positive towards your platoon. It's always rewarding. It's always nice to have. It just gives everyone a better experience if you're being positive. Now, rule number 2 is simply try your best to be clear when you're talking to your platoon. If you're going over something, if you're going over your rules, try to be simple, try to give them a simple approach, try to be clear on your communications, and try to explain them as best as you can, your line of thought. Just try to have good communication towards your platoon, okay? And this is, I mean, it's a little bit hard to enforce, but if you think that you are too drunk or too, I don't know, maybe too stoned to platoon lead, maybe don't do it, okay? Because it's just gonna get messy and people are not gonna understand what you're saying, and it happens from time to time, and it's just a mess, okay? Let's try to be clear when we're platoon leading. Let's try to be focused. Let's try to have good communications when you're speaking to your platoon. That's going to make them respect you more. That's going to make them look up to you more. And that's going to make them have a better time when you are leading. Just makes your leading feel more professional when you're being as clear as you can about every single order that you're giving. Would anybody else like to add something to that?
Don't always assume that everyone within your platoon has as much knowledge about the different bases as you necessarily do, so give people guidance, repeat it often. You know, we're taking a tech plant. All right, I want this squad up on the balcony. I want this squad on the gun deck, so on and so forth. Don't just assume that they're going to know what those are either. Make sure you give some guidance as you're going.
Micromanage your orders, guys. That's what we mean, okay? When we say be clear, what we mean by that is the difference between saying, everyone, we are max crushing, let's go, we're max crushing, let's go. That's just gonna send a bunch of maxes out of the spawn room and they're gonna go everywhere and you're not gonna achieve anything, okay? When we mean be clear is give good orders, okay? Make sure your platoon understands what you're saying. Everyone, we're leaving in 10 seconds. You guys are following me. I am the pink max. I'm gonna lead your charge. We're gonna take a right, then we're gonna go to the skinny stairs. everyone follow me. That's how you do a clear order. That's how you be direct and focused towards your communication.
Another thing is, I haven't seen this necessarily in SKL squads, but it happens a lot in other platoons and other squads. When you give directions like that, when you need a squad to go take C, for instance, make sure you're specific and you say which squad. Don't just say, hey, we need a squad to go do this, or hey, we need a couple people to go do this. Actually divvy it up yourself. Pick a group of people that you see that would be capable of doing it, and specifically tell them to do it, because otherwise you get either nobody doing it or you get way too many people doing it.
Yeah. There's a lot of situations, but in general is be clear with your orders. That's it. Make sure your orders are clear. There's no room for misunderstanding, so your platoon knows exactly where to go and where to be.
Be confident in those orders. Would be a good
Yeah, that's rule number 3.
And also try and have good leaders as your squad leaders, so that they can take care. Like if you send a squad somewhere, at least you can have your squad leader paying attention to that, knowing whether or not the squad's actually going there, so platoon lead doesn't have to pay attention to it.
Absolutely agree with that.
100%. Yeah, and as Nex said it, rule number 3, everyone, is be confident. When you are giving orders, when you're talking to your platoon, you should sound confident on your decisions, okay? Even if you are doubting your own decisions, if you are not sure yourself if they're gonna work or not, the way you approach your orders is the way your platoon is gonna respond to it. If you're giving an order, oh, well, I think that, I don't know, maybe we should go and capture Quartz Ridge, your platoon is going to be like, this guy doesn't have no idea what he's doing. But if you give a confident order, if you're confident on your judgment, and you know that's the best course of action, make sure your platoon knows that you feel that way about it. Everyone, we're going to take Quartz Ridge now. This is the move. We're going to win the alert with Quartz Ridge. So behave in a confident manner, way to achieve good leadership is the effectiveness of your platoon, and overall your game experience as well, if you're running with a platoon that's confident on its orders.
And I think map knowledge really ties into that, because in order to give confident orders, I've been platoon lead once or twice, and I may have not known the map that well, so I may have put out an order, and it just I wasn't too confident behind it, and then other people would shout out suggestions, and then it just kind of just doesn't work. You really do have to be confident, but also be open for those suggestions. I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is that if you are still learning the game, if you are still learning the basis, and you are not 100% on your tactics yet, it is hard to balance that. The situation that I'm talking about is basically when you are certain of your own orders, but you have people conflicting it with you, and you want to make those orders work. What I mean by that is, if you are new to the game and if you are still learning, there's no way you can be confident about your orders. There's no problem about that. But if you do give an order that you are confident on, and people are still not taking it as well, that is because of the way that you approach those orders. So if you are confident about something, speak confident when you say them. Make sure you sound confident. Anything else to add, anyone?
Quick question. What was that?
Yeah. Do we have some sort of guide coming out on base tactics? How to take and hold different bases, so that we can study up and become more confident?
That is something we're working on, talking to some of the leadership that's more into the minute tactics, into taking up and doing it. It's on the table. It just hasn't been officially decided on or anything yet, but it's in discussion.
If I'm aware, someone was working on it. They just haven't been able to have the time to fully work on it.
Kasami, I need just 2 minutes here. Can you keep the discussion up for me? Just 2 minutes.
Sure.
The reason I ask is I started started working on one for Esamir just for my own study that I was willing to share with people, and then I heard that the outfit was working on one, so I won't continue mine.
Yeah, it's something that is on the table. We haven't officially taken it up and decided who's going to be doing it, or put anything officially in the works, but it has been discussed. I'm not great with tactics. I'm perfectly willing to admit I'm not great with tactics, but there are people who are like, they'll tell you, you know, your squad needs to need to have this many medics, this many heavies. You know, hold this base at this door, and you creep around and you crouch here. We've got so many great people in this outfit who know that kind of stuff that we're just trying to talk them into actually doing an official guide, but it has been discussed.
So what if I sat down and interviewed people and then compiled that into a Word doc? Would that be useful?
I'm sure if the people have time to do it, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say put it out there in Discord and ask if anybody, you know, would be interested in, you know, talking to you about tactics, helping you out with tactics and stuff. And I know you've posted in Discord when you've had trouble at a certain base and you've gotten responses of how it could have been done better. So things like that are absolutely valuable pieces of knowledge.
And that's kind of funny too, because that's how Kasami put this together. As she went and interviewed a bunch of people like Kidney, Rage, all, you know, we're working on a lot of things right now to get a lot of structure put into place so that we have some leadership training and we have a new curriculum almost. So that's what we're working on.
Snack, were you saying something?
I was just gonna say that you're great at strategy. You're just good at macro strategy, not micro strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a whole continent, but individual bases, how to hold them, some of them I've got, but I'm not the greatest at tactics.
So you're good at
they're better
macro
out there for
tactics.
sure. Yeah.
So I'm working on Yami Samurai. I'm trying to get him to write something up because I don't know if anybody knows Yami, but this guy is really good. He's a really good guy. I've been friends with him for the longest time. Kidney's been friends with him. And I'd like to see like Snack and Triss and all these people write one of those guys and really sell it together. So I think that'd be great.
Hello there, I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone.
Just
Oh my god, just one. I have 2 energy. I can't screw this up. I'm gonna do some
Instead
manually.
of a overall tactics guide, it might be easier to break down certain portions. Like, I know one thing that would help me is a router placement guide. It doesn't have to be specific to bases, but general ideas about where and when you want to use routers. Instead of an overall tactics guide, because that's going to be huge.
Have you tried
Yeah, no,
to
guys.
the construction head?
Yeah, now guys, easy way to put it about that is, and I'll go over it in just a minute here as soon as we finish this one. But when you're talking about strategy and when you're talking about like overall gameplay aspect of PlanetSide 2 leadership, there's no easy way to go about it. We could make like a training session like this and it would take like
don't
6
screw me
hours
over.
to go over everything with you guys. So there's no easy way we can go ahead and train you guys on everything. We can just try our best to give you guys some general advice, and that's what we're gonna try to do, not only today, but like through wards, through the leadership training sessions. But if you are talking about specific stuff, the best way to do it is to look for a guide on that specific thing, or to try to talk to someone on that specific thing, like router placement, sunder placement, or how to take a tech plant, or how to take this specific base. Best way to go about it is talk to someone specifically about that, or look for a guide, because there's too much to cover. Each base is different, each continent is different, each situation is different. There's just no way we can cover it all in a training session or even in a guide. So we try to provide you good general direction, but in the end, it comes down to practice and yeah. Let's keep it up here, guys, so we can try to finish this one quick. So we went over rule number 3, and that is being confident. And now rule number 4 is a simple one, but an interesting one, and it is one that gives a very good like image, not only to you, but to your platoon as well, is be the first. And we are still talking about the character of a platoon leader. try always to be the first. If you are leading a charge, if you are leading a breach, if you are starting a new platoon, always try to be the first. If you're striving towards being a leader, that should always be something you should keep in mind. Be the first on everything you're trying to do. If you're doing max crush, be the first max through the door. If you are leading a charge through a field, be the first one running towards your goal. If you are doing an armor column, be the first one to pull the sunder or the whatever you guys are pulling. If you are doing a gal drop, be the first one to pull the gal. It gives a sense of following, lead by example. People see you there and they will follow you. That's a practical thing. It works all the times. They will look at you, they will see the bright yellow star, and they will go after you if you are the first one. So that's something to keep in mind. Always strive to be the first. Anything else to add to this?
As a counter to that, if you're giving a bunch of orders to your platoon and you're not listening to yourself, they will also take note of that and they won't take you seriously.
Through that.
Yeah, I think anybody can make a difference in your platoon. You just got to trust in them, give them a chance as well, and see what they can do.
I don't know if I was the only one who did this when they first started playing, but when I first got into big platoons, back when Little Kidney Failure was just a little new player, I would always try to be a medic, and if the platoon lead went down, I would try to revive him, and I don't know, I just felt like that was such a contribution, and I don't know, there's just something great about being involved, not just on the map, but in the micro aspect of the game, and it's cool, it feels like you're contributing, and your players feel that.
They will follow you. I can 100% assure you that's how I play the game as well. They will look to their leaders and then they will follow him. If they're seeing you going through the door, they will go with you. If you are screaming, throw your bodies into that point, no matter if you guys die, they will go after you if you are the first one through the door. So that's what I mean by this one. And as I said, guys, these are not rules, you know, these are just character traits that makes good platoon leaders, okay? So now for rule number 5 is quite simply try to be fun, you know, try to be funny to your platoon, try to give them a good time. That way, when people join the game, they will look for you. You know, if you are being funny, if you are making sure people are like having a good time, if you're making them laugh, if you're giving them good discussions, and if you're making good jokes, and you create a good character for yourself in game, they will start looking for you, like actively. If you're good to run with, people will wait for you to join the game, and they will look to join your platoons only. When you join, they will go, hey, are you leading something? And if you get to that point, if you log into the game and you have people asking if you are leading something, that's when you know you made it, okay? That's when you know, okay, now I'm a fun platoon leader, people like to run with me, that means that you made it as a platoon. You can have like that good feeling in your little hearts that, oh, that's so nice, you know? People enjoy running with it.
Unique squad description as well, so when people see your squads in your platoon show up in the squad finder, they know who they're looking at.
Exactly. Create a character for yourself. Like my platoons are always called the Spandex Crusades. If you guys see a Spandex Crusades platoon, that's my platoon. Kasami's platoon is called
Kasami's Crusaders.
There we go.
No, people know.
Everyone knows, you know?
It does help.
And it's good. It helps a lot. It helps a lot.
People on NC know about Kasami's Crusaders.
Yeah, Nivek, you can 100% come up with your name, and we highly recommend that you do so. But what we ask is that you use one of the colors that, like, you can put a color in your in your squad description, and you mention SKL like somewhere. If you want to, if you want people to know that's an SKL, an official SKL platoon. Okay.
I've got a question about adding friends. If there's a squad or platoon up that has a bunch of your friends in it, will the squad finder automatically put you in somewhere with people that you know?
No. However, you can set it to show friends first. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe you can do it too. Okay, so now rule number 6 is don't burn yourself out. That's something that we went over in the rules. It's like to stay calm. But this one is more like in a long-term sense, okay? You don't need to be the person leading platoons 24/7, okay? When you come to planetside 2, you want to have a good time, and most of the times you just want to chill. So you don't want to be the kind of person that wants to come to planetside 2 only to lead. At some point it will become a burden. This is not like how the game is supposed to be played. If you enjoy it, do it as much as you want. But if you feel like it's starting to be a burden, take a break, like play in someone else's platoon. Even if people want you to take over, don't do it, because you will burn yourself out. That's not something we want. We want to keep you guys here. You know? And what happens is, in the end, if you are tired of the game and it starts feeling more like a responsibility than a game, you will end up walking away from it, and SKL will lose a great asset if you're leaving it. So do it as much as you want, but if you're starting to feel like the strain of it, if you're starting to feel tired and you just want to enjoy the game, don't do it out of obligation, okay? None of you are required to lead in any way, shape, or form. You just do it because you like it. Anything else to add? Any of the leaders?
That's good so far, man.
If you are getting burnt out, do not be afraid to step away.
Great one.
Maybe mention also, you know, I mean, nobody's going to judge you or say anything, but just say, you know, I'm taking a little break so we know where you went and what's going on, you know? That would help too.
Yeah. Beyond the fact of us really, we should be knowing as an outfit, as leadership, we worry about people. When people play for so long, and we see them all the time, and then all of a sudden they disappear, we're like, hey, has anybody talked to so-and-so lately? Is he okay? We do worry, as a family.
Noah's a good example. Noah took and has burnt out of the game. He took and made a post that he was leaving for a bit, and he'll be back after the upcoming update. So
there you go.
It's also worth saying to my fellow PL1s that, from what I've been told, when we're being evaluated for promotions, since that's come up multiple times, it's quality over quantity.
Exactly. Don't try to lead as much as you can. Try to lead as best as you can. That's very, very important.
Can I add a little bit right here?
Go ahead. Feel free.
Okay, so if you guys are, you know, leading your platoon, you've already taken the mantle of responsibility, and now, for whatever reason, you're not having fun. It's not great. Your platoon is not having fun, but you personally, you can't handle it. It is better to go in and pass off the platoon lead rather than let it suffer through your unhappiness as well. You're not having fun, your platoon is probably not going to be having fun as well. There's no harm in passing it off, especially if you're burnt out in the middle of a platoon or in the middle of a battle. Just can't go on. Just pass it off. No one's gonna fault you for it. It happens.
Precisely. There we go. And now for the
Ichigo
final
uses
rule as
Bankai
well,
for
and
his
this
first
is the
time.
last one in the character topic. And there's no discussion about this one. You guys take this one however you feel like it. To each and every one, you guys are gonna give your own interpretation to this one. But simply put, is do not be a jerk. Okay, this is
You
as
got
simple as
Death
that.
God?
When
That'd be
you're
so
platoon leading,
cool.
try your best to not be a jerk. And there's no discussion to be made about this one. It's up for interpretation. As I said, this is not a rule. This is more of a guideline. You will interpret it however you feel like it, but try to your best not to act as a jerk when you're platoon leading. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but we just want to get it out there. Okay. Anything else to add?
Is there a difference between a jerk and an asshole?
But two.
Parental filters.
Yes, thank you, Kasami. Okay, then. Well, that ends the second topic of discussion, and that's character of an SKL platoon leader. SKL leadership should behave as best as it can. As I said, guys, you are the face of SKL when you are leading. The image that people are gonna make of the outfit is completely up to you guys when you're leading. That's why we want you guys to behave at your best, to strive to be the best you that you can be when you're leading, not only for self-interest of the Legion, but for the interest of the game itself. If you, as I said, you as a leader, you are the most important player in the server at that time. So if you are doing good, if you are being good, that means the game is doing good and being good as well. So now that we ended this topic, I'm gonna open up for questions once again. If anyone have anything to ask about what we discussed so far, and anyone has anything to add. No one?
That's good so far, man.
Okay, sounds good. That's great. Now, before we move over to the next topic, and we're closing, we're very close to wrapping up here, guys. By the way, before we move over to it, I would like all of you to go to your Discords if possible, whenever you can. Doesn't need to be now, because I know that probably all of you guys are interested in the chain of command. That's something I said when I was promoting the event, and you guys are 100% right on wanting to know more about the chain of command. How to climb the ranks, how to get promoted, how to ascend in SKL. That's something we want you guys to want. Okay, we want you guys to want to climb the ranks. We need more people coming in. We need good leaders amongst our ranks, and we need to keep leadership rotating so we keep being an effective outfit. Now, if you go to our Discord, I want you guys to look for the useful information channel. And basically, how the name says, that's the most useful information we have on our Discord. Now, the last document posted there was a document by Quastar, and it's put it there specifically to query those questions of how, and not only how to behave for each of the SKL command ranks, but how to get there. What are we looking for in those positions? So if any of you would like to know like how to climb, what is expected of you when you reach any of those ranks, that's the document you guys should go over and look to. It's very it's very well explained by Quasdarm himself how you guys can climb and what do we expect from you guys. So go ahead and check that one out. And that basically ends up the monologue part that went on for much longer than I expected. And I am extremely surprised that we basically have everyone that we started with still, like everyone is still here. This is fucking crazy. You guys have been hearing me talk for 2 hours now, and you are still
God
here.
damn, you're still talking.
Yes. This is amazing, guys. Now, before like we talk about something else, I
Oh,
just would
okay,
like
my
to
mic
compliment
muted.
all of you guys in your dedication here. Because
Okay.
this means a lot.
Irby, I know your face on that. You haven't been talking for 2 hours. You've only been talking for an hour and 34 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, goddamn. Almost 2
And
hours.
literally,
Does this
like...
mean that I could, can I unmute him now?
Unmute me.
Yeah, but really, guys, this is a lot. This is a lot of dedication, guys, and we haven't even went over anything related to game. You guys have just been listening to us talk about what we judge to be expected from our community. So that's really nice from you guys, and I would like to say thank you all for like taking the time and for from the dedication of you all. It really is amazing, guys.
I'm gonna hate to do this, but I'm gonna cut it right here because it's burning too much my Wi-Fi. Cause holy shit! It's like I was thinking by now we were gonna talk about tattoos or something, but if we're just gonna talk about this, I can't stream anymore because it's gonna burn too much Wi-Fi.
You know? Now is the time, you know. So now the last topic, guys, and now this one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. Is basically talking about strategy, game plan, maneuvering, how to win alerts, and how to do all that. Now, before we say anything about that, and you guys can start redeploying if we want, we're gonna go to one of the continents. Before we talk anything about any of that, we need to keep in mind that, as I said, every situation is its own situation. There's no way, I repeat, there's no way we can go ahead and teach you guys about every single situation. Let's go over to Host, by the way.
You guys, I have a friend who...
Both as Amir and Austin are about to end in 11 minutes.
It's okay.
Are we gonna fight in Hassan, or are we just gonna look at the map, Hassan?
He had to go.
No, yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff first, and then we can go and have some fighting if you guys want. But first, I would like to show you guys some stuff before we start. Yeah, we have 1 hour 11 minutes left in Hassan, so it's gonna be a good example for us here. It's gonna be nice.
Orbit, do you remember that Indar document that I sent in Outfit Command a while back ago?
I believe I do.
Merla, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, nah, we can go.
Hell
check
yeah,
out Indar,
Merlot.
Definitely, we can go. But for now, let's.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was not
just,
really
let's
planning
just
on
come
for
here to
this,
Hassan
like-
first, and I'm gonna talk over some stuff with you guys.
I'm gonna be honest to God, I was really not planning for like an. I thought they were just joking with 2 hours, like just talk how to lead, like Jesus. But basically, if you guys are wondering, yesterday I basically joined a squad and everything, and I was joining a mentoring squad, and the squad mentoring, well, I don't know, I like these guys. They're like, I was asking, oh my God, is it a fight bash and everything? And this is the clan on N. Damn it, I should start with this first. This is the Outfit Wars clans. Yeah, this is the Discord. Your loyalty.
If you want to go.
So I'm gonna put them back up. I should start with this.
Go over some general
Sensei.
things and try to cover up the basics. Some things that can be effective in every situation, and then we can, like, after we finish, we can talk about anything you want.
Yes, at the end of this, Orby will be singing for us, so everyone be ready for that.
Jesus Christ, man! Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
It's done. You're never gonna get done. It's always gonna
No. Okay, now to start off, everyone, I would like you to know basically how to behave when in regards to strategy. Okay, so first thing to keep in mind is When you get into the game and you fire up your platoon or you took over a platoon from someone, first thing you need to know is there an alert going on or not? Okay? Now, if there's no alert going on, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. Do harasser race, go farm the biolab, go farm T alloys. Ask your platoon what they would like to do. Would you guys like to farm a little bit more? If it's really late at night and people just want to chill, they're probably going to vote for staying in a base with high population and farming for some time. That's all the fun they want to have. But if you have an alert going on, you 100% put your sweatpants, like your sweaty gamer pants on, and then you go all strategy mode and you play for the win. That's how we go about planetside 2.
So I've been wondering something. How do you how does the alert activate in this game now?
Yeah, now Swamp Shark, if you go to your map screen, on below the name of the continent that you are on, there's something called Empire Strength. That's basically a number that goes from 0 to 100, and each base on the continent will give you a small percentage of that. So the way an alert triggers is when one of the faction reaches 100 Empire Strength, it will give you a pop-up saying alert will start in 1 minute. Then after that 1 minute timer, the alert starts. So basically when a continent opens, it waits until one of the factions hits that 100% mark and then the alert starts.
To add to that, there are extra points you can earn on each of the continents for controlling a center zone.
Yeah, bases have different amounts of Empire Strength points that they give you. If you click on top of that Empire Strength name, it will give you some more information in which bases are more valuable than others.
Okay. And then here, since we're on this topic, if I forget, if we have no chance, how do you get this A7? It says database currency that's earned by participating in alerts.
Every time you win an alert, actually every time you finish an alert, when the alert ends, you get a determined amount of A7 proportional to the time that you spend on that alert.
See, I spent a lot of time, but I still have gotten nothing.
They took out A7 rewards in Shadowboard Gate.
It's in missions.
Did they?
Now.
Oh yeah, it's only missions now. Yeah, you're right, 100% right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I thought they put it back, but it's ISO. So now you only earn it through missions. You should look into your missions and see if you have any of them rewarding you A7.
I don't know if they've changed it either.
I do not have, like...
You can still get them from terminals, I believe, too. Some special terminals give A7.
You can.
That's what it says. It says terminal. What kind of terminal am I looking for?
Yeah, Swamp, I can go ahead and clear that one out for you later, bro. But let's try to keep it to the leadership one now. Let's go over the strategy stuff, okay? Okay, so now everyone, to start off, to go over some stuff that you guys should probably know before you start the alert, okay? Because if the alert has already started and you want to fire up a platoon, you are already down to it. But if you're trying to start the alert yourself, here's what you need to know, okay? Usually, the faction that starts the alert is the faction with the highest amount of territory. You are starting the alert yourself. That means that you're going to start with more lattices exposed to your enemies. Basically, that means that both MC and TR will be attacking you instead of attacking someone else. That means that you will get the double team most of the times if you start the alert. So most of the times it is better if you can get someone else to start the alert for you, if that's what you're trying to do. Okay, that means that faction is going to be the one to start the alert, and if they do, you can just go ahead and start pushing them back as soon as the alert starts. Okay, now if none of the factions are starting the alert themselves and you're going to end up having to do it yourself, or if you see the alert starting no matter what you do and you want to prepare for the start of the alert, okay, make sure you just going over outfit chat there. If you want to go ahead and prepare for the alert, the best way for you to do it is to take over the stronghold bases on the continent. Okay? Now I want you guys to open up your Hossing map right here. Now, very close to
it's a good I have.
an easy one. Now, you find Bitol Biolab, that's on the left side of the map, on our territory there. To the north of Bido, we have Cairn Station, okay? I believe all of you guys can find it very easy. It's marked with platoon waypoint. Now, if you look at the icon on top of the Cairn Station name, can you tell the difference between that one and the other bases around it? Like the Outpost Lambda, you can see that it's a different icon. When you find a base like that, it basically means that that base is a stronghold base. It has multiple capture points to it. It's a base that's a lot harder to capture. Sometimes they have generators, they will have SCUs sometimes. Those bases are choke points that the enemy will take lots and lots of time to capture. Now, each continent is different, but if you go over each and every one of them, you will see that usually around the edges of the frontiers, now that basically means like on the lattices that connect VS to TR and VS to NC, there will usually be these stronghold bases. And these ones are the key ones for you to have before you start the alert. So if you see that the alert is about to start, you should try to make an effort to capture those ones before the alert starts. So then you can play defense on those bases and try to get as much time out of them as possible. Okay? Now here in Hossen, if you guys look at your maps right now, you probably know some of them very well. We have Genesis Terraforming on the NC territory, Platoon Waypoint. Ravada PMC Station is another one, very, very hard to take. Now, more to the north between NC and TR, Hade Skydock is another choke point, very, very hard to take that one. You can hold that one for long. Then you have Hatcher Air Station on the TR territory, Platoon Waypoint. Then a little bit more to the south, Fort Drexler on our front, and then Cairn Station. So you see, those are key bases for you to hold. Now, if you go over to Indar, I believe most of you can already tell which ones they are in here. Can anyone give me a guess? If you know which one it is and you are a veteran to the game, don't say it. But if you are new to the game, can you give me a guess on a good choke point base on Indar? There we go. There we go.
J908 impact site.
There we go. Easy to know. Easy to know. Indar Excavation, Quartz Ridge, Hauling Pass, Crimson Bluff Tower, Crossroads Watchtower, Regent Rock Garrison, The Crown. Those bases are basically impossible to take if they are being well defended. So the alert, they basically rotate around these bases, okay? Every time you're playing an alert, you're basically playing for choke point bases. If you have them, you will win the alert. If you end up losing them, you will basically lose the alert. You can give up smaller bases, but you cannot give up these ones. You should try to get them as early as you can, and then you always need to fight to defend them. Even if you're fighting against a 96 plus Zerg, you can still try to put your entire platoon into one point and waste the enemy time as much as you can. This is what you do with those choke point bases. So this is the main factor in an alert. Always keep your eyes out for the key bases in each and every continent. We're not gonna go over every one of them here. Basically, you guys can probably tell most of them by playing the game so far. You can see which ones are hard to take, and the platoons. If you have people in your platoons, they will say it. We should try to capture Hauling Pass now in the beginning of the alert. And if you want to go over more of those later, you can approach me if you want, and we can go over each and every one of the maps for you guys. And there's also lots of information on our Discord. Specifically, Avocado mentioned that he did one guide specifically on this kind of stuff. So you can find more material on these key bases on our Discord as well. So now that you guys know about the bases, like what you guys should play for, A general rule of thumb when playing for the alert, and this goes to every single continent and every alert this holds true, is never try to hold on to the middle of the map. Okay? Doesn't matter which continent you're on, doesn't matter what time of the alert it is. Losing the middle of the map is actually good for you. Okay? Because let's go over to Indar. This is the best example that we have here. Okay? It is locked right now, but all of you know that the middle of the continent here is Serious Hydroponics, Tialois, and the Crown. Okay? Now, even if you are new to the game, you probably know what a shithole it is when you get stuck in Tialois. When your population gets stuck on the Crown, fighting over the pop sink that is Tialois. And to avoid that, you basically just don't care about it. Okay? If you don't have connection to the middle of the map, that means that your blueberries, your randoms, the population that are not in your platoon, they are not getting stuck in a useless fight in the center of the map, and they are going to the fights on the sides, the ones that matter, the ones where you are actually taking useful territory for the alert. So for every alert, it is useful for you guys to try to avoid the center of the map. Sometimes it's even better to lose connection to the center of the map and always go for the sides. Bases on the sidelines, they're always more important than the center of the map, okay? In Esamir, basically, if you hold ice attack plant, you're almost never gonna win the alert. Because your population is gonna get stuck there and you're gonna lose everything else and you're just gonna hold on to ice. In the end of the alert, in the final 30 minutes, you can try to capture something in the middle of the map just to push your percentage above the victory threshold. But in the beginning and the middle of the alert, it's always a good rule of thumb to avoid holding on to those territories. Okay? Now another rule like that can be held true to basically every situation when you're fighting to win is avoiding biolabs. Everyone can agree to that biolabs are just population sinks. They're good for nothing. They're so bad for the game flow that they actually took it out of the game on Esamir. So that's how bad it is. So every time you're playing an alert, never, and I repeat, never send your platoon to a biolab if you're trying to win. Not even if it's like a free cap. You never send your platoon there. You go around the biolab, and planetside 2 is now designed in a way that you can capture all of the bases around the biolab and cut it off without capturing the biolab itself. Now, human, the reason biolabs are so bad, human male, if you want to talk to us, go ahead and talk on platoon chat to avoid like the conversation on outfit chat. But the reason biolabs are so bad is because they have 4 points, or is it 3? It's 4, right?
3. Depends.
Yeah, some of them have 4, I believe. Yeah, but anyway, they have lots of points. They are specifically designed to choke infantry into places that you can't
This was
advance.
not
You
planned.
need to go through doors that have like 5 or 6 engineer turrets behind them, and you just can't make progress. You get stuck there in an infantry fight that's just not going anywhere. If you defend a biolab, no one can take it from you. It's basically a place that veterans go to like farm their directives, and it's just a population sink. It's not good for anything when you're actually trying to capture territories. So now open up your maps here on Hossin, and every single biolab that you see, you will realize that all the bases around them are connected. Every single one of the biolabs. That means that if you're trying to get a biolab, you can go around and cut it off. It doesn't need to capture the biolab itself. You can just go around and cut the biolab to avoid getting stuck in a fight.
This doesn't apply to Ikanon, does it?
Where is that one?
Economic special, that's that one that's sunken into the ground. It's weird, but economic special case. It's not really a traditional biolab.
Yeah.
It pops, sink pop. It's a typical 3-point base, basically.
Ikanon shouldn't be called a biolab. That's the thing. Ikanan is not a biolab. There is a biolab in the name, but it's not a biolab. You have a 3-point base, and 2 of the points are vehicle capture points. So that's not actually a biolab. Ikanan is the only exception to this because it's not actually a biolab. It's just called that for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that's another general rule of thumb that's always useful, is avoiding biolabs. Now, to talk a little bit about how you should behave on an alert, there's basically 2 situations that you can be on when you start an alert, okay? So you can either start by losing, so you start losing an alert. When the alert starts, you are either the second or the last faction in the alert, or you can start the alert winning. And the way you play the alert in each one of those situations are kind of different, but they can be similar in some ways. So the easiest one is if you start the alert by losing. If you are in last place when the alert starts in territory control, basically the way you should play is always keep yourself in the aggression, okay? Always try to go and capture a base because you don't have a lot of territory. That means the factions are probably not going to be coming for you as much. So you're going to have an easy time in the beginning trying to capture as much as you can. So if you start the alert losing, always try to be aggressive. Try your best to stay in the aggression, and you should try to gobble up as much territory as you can. Now, if you start an alert by winning, then that's another story completely, because you will need to expect being double teamed if you started the alert. And if any of you are not familiar with the term, that means that both of the enemy factions are going to come fight you instead of fighting each other, because you are the faction holding the biggest amount of territory. Now, on those situations, you can either try to sit and wait for the enemy to come and play defensive and hold on to your advantage, or you can use the tactic that I believe to be the most effective one, that is to keep pushing in your lead. You are already winning. You are probably already gonna get double teamed at some point.
All right, guys, let's get to A7.
So you try your best to create a big advantage to your faction. You keep pressuring your enemy. You keep yourself in the aggression, and by the time you hit half of the alert, you should have over 50% territory. And if you have all of that territory, when you start getting double teamed, you can fall back onto those choke point bases that we talked about, and then you are not fighting for territory anymore. You are fighting for time. You want to keep maintaining your advantage, and you fight for every single second that you can give yourself. Throw your entire platoon into one single point in a base to take minutes away from that capture. Send one squad to try to do a back cap when your enemies start pushing in you. Try to build a base in a choke point to waste enemy time. Pull an armor column to stop the enemy on the road before they can deploy Sunders on the base ahead of you. On that situation, you are fighting to get as much out of every base as you can. Go ahead, Kasami.
Good thing to keep an eye on is when you're in an alert as the platoon lead, don't just watch what you're trying to do, keep an eye on what the enemy's doing. Look at the fights that they're having between the two of them, and if there's a lot of population there, you're pretty good to keep on pushing. If they pull off and they've got one fight where there's only 12 to 24 between the two factions, you can pretty much count on a double team. You need to start considering defending and how far you can fall back those choke point bases, how much you're willing to lose to be okay.
Exactly, and that comes down to basically the rule number one, winning alerts 101, that you should never do, is always make sure you are not cutting off big fights, okay? That's rule number one, because if you do that, that's basically how you get double team. If you can be warp gating the enemy, okay, and you still have like 30 minutes left, so you're feeling confident, no, we're gonna lose the alert, there's no problem, let's go ahead and cut off the entirety of NC territory. If you cut them off and they were stuck in a biolab fight, that means they can't spawn there anymore as they were doing. That means they're gonna come for you with their entire population. So if you see a big fight between your enemies, you should try to keep it alive for as long as you can. You can't see that very well on Hossin, because Hossin lattice is very confusing. But let's go over to Indar for a second here, okay? Now, let's suppose that we have the Indar Western Warp Gate, okay? So we have the Indar Western Warp Gate. No, let's do the Northern one. It's easier if you're on the Northern one. So VS has the Northern Warp Gate, and NC and TR are stuck in a fight on T-Alloys, okay? Like they would. So TR has the Crown, and NC has T-Alloys. Now, let's say you are in the alert and they have a 96 plus there on T-Alloys, and you are pushing down on the NC, so you're pushing down on Alatum Biolab. So you're pushing on that lattice, and if you end up capturing the Alatum Botany Wing, what's gonna happen is you're gonna cut off T-Alloys. And that's the worst thing that you could do is cutting off a base like T-Alloys, or cutting off a biolab that has a lot of population, or cutting off ice attack plant, or cutting off a choke point base where your enemies are fighting at. Because as soon as that cutoff goes through, every person on that base, when they die, they're gonna open up their maps and they're gonna go like, oh, I'm cut off. I should probably go back and fight the VS. And that's when you start getting double teamed. So that's winning alerts 101. Never cut off big enemy fights. Never, under any circumstances. That's how you ask for the double team. Okay?
Just play around it.
Play around it. Capture other bases. Avoid the lattice where the double team is happening so people don't get worried. If you even start moving close to the lattice that would cut off T-Alloys, people will fall back to defend it. And then those people are probably going to stay fighting you. They're not going to go back to the fight they were on.
And also, Blueberry's out there. They'll see, oh, hey, they're pushing to take it. Let's join that Zerg. And if you pull off, chances are they'll keep pushing forward and they'll cut off that fight. So it's best to just stay away from it. If you see they've got a good sync where there's 96 plus enemies, you know, there's a couple hundred people in that biolab or in that choke point, whatever, leave it. Just stay away from it. Take around it. Go up the east or the west or whichever directions are away from it, because Zerg will happen and it will push forward.
There we go. Now, I'm gonna take a break here and let you guys ask anything that you want about what we talked so far. Does any of you have any questions about what we said so far?
Yes, it's been 2 hours, so I gotta end my stream.
Yeah.